You sure you are at the right place? I guess I had asked him this for the fourth or was it the fifth time? But what else could I have done? He isn't supposed to be here, or was it I who was at the wrong place? After all, I had no business here, on this cute date with the most adorable guy ever, even though I'm pretty sure I'm anything but straight. But here's the catch. I don't think I'm allowed to be anything other than straight. Cooper laughed, a bright, cheerful sound that put me a little more at ease. I'm definitely sure. I'm at the right place, Anthony. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. The initial shock of seeing a man instead of the usual blind date, especially the one set up by my parents, was starting to wear off, replaced by a strange sense of curiosity and excitement. Cooper was not only adorable, but had this infectious energy that was hard to resist. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, I said, managing a smile. Shall we sit? We both took our seats, and yet I couldn't help but feel a bit conflicted. Was this some kind of mistake? Or had my parents finally accepted who I was? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. What if it was one of their tricks to check whether I'm truly straight? Well, in that case, wouldn't this be like a final test before they finally chuck me out? It's not like I can't live on my own. It's just that I never have. So, how do you know my parents? I asked, still trying to piece together the puzzle. Cooper grinned. I don't actually. My parents do. They thought we might hit it off. Could this be a good friend's influence, I wondered? Wow, I muttered, still a bit stunned. This is unexpected. Unexpected, but not unwelcome, I hope? Cooper asked, his eyes twinkling. I laughed, feeling some of the tension ease out of me. No, definitely not unwelcome. The conversation started awkwardly, with me fumbling through my words, but Cooper's easygoing nature quickly put me at ease. He told me about his work as a photographer, and I found myself genuinely fascinated by his stories. Photography has always been a way for me to connect with people and see the world differently, Cooper explained, his passion shining through. It's amazing how a single photo can tell a whole story. That sounds incredible, I said, feeling more comfortable. I've always admired people who can see the world through a different lens. Cooper laughed. Well, I bet you have your own unique perspective too. What do you do, Anthony? I'm in marketing, I said, suddenly feeling a bit self-conscious. My job seems so ordinary compared to his. I help companies with their branding and advertising. That's awesome, Cooper said, genuinely interested. It must be cool to shape how people see a brand. As the night went on, I realized how easy it was to talk to Cooper. He had this vibe about him that can instantly put you in a happy mood, and I found myself laughing and sharing stories I hadn't thought about in years. It was like we had known each other forever. By the time we finished dinner, I didn't want the evening to end. Cooper suggested we take a walk, and I eagerly agreed. We strolled through the nearby park, talking about everything, from our favorite movies to our dreams for the future. It was the most fun and relaxed I had felt in a long time. When we finally said goodbye, I couldn't stop smiling. Thanks for tonight, Cooper. I had a great time. Me too, Anthony. Let's do this again soon, he said, giving me a warm hug that left me feeling giddy. As I walked back to my car, I couldn't believe how the night had turned out. Here, I was expecting another awkward blind date, but instead, I had met someone who made me feel happy and comfortable in a way I hadn't felt in years. I gotta thank my parents. The next day, somebody came home late last night, huh? My dad teased me as I walked into the kitchen, still half asleep. Don't tease him like that, hon, my mother said, but her tone was even more teasing than my dad's. So, Anthony, how was she? Mom. I could feel my face turning crimson, but soon it all washed away. I stopped dead in my tracks as I registered what she inquired. Wait, she? I echoed, my heart sinking. They couldn't mean Cooper, could they? Yeah, the girl we set you up with, my mom said, looking at me expectantly. How was your date? My heart dropped into my stomach as I understood everything. Of course, they meant a girl. I felt stupid for even considering my parents had changed magically out of nowhere. It was nice, I stammered, feeling a mix of panic and disappointment. Really nice. My dad grinned. That's great to hear. We were hoping you'd hit it off. She is our close friend's daughter. Treat her well, my mother explained. I nodded, still lost in my thoughts when I realized that Cooper said the same thing. I distinctly remembered him saying something about the parents. Does that mean he knew everything? I forced a smile, my mind racing. I couldn't believe I had let myself get carried away with the idea that my homophobic parents had somehow accepted me for who I was. It had been a misunderstanding all along, and if what I have concluded is true, then Cooper knew everything and chose to hide it from me. But why? Yeah, it was, a good time, I managed to say, grabbing a piece of toast and mumbling something about needing to get ready for work, desperate to escape the conversation. As soon as I got out of there, I felt a wave of anger and frustration wash over me. Not at my parents, but at myself. How could I have been so foolish to think that my parents would ever accept me as I am? The memory of last night's joy turned sour in my mind, replaced by the bitter taste of disappointment. Later that evening, determined to get some answers, I decided to confront Cooper. I needed to know if he knew about the mix-up. Maybe he was in on it, or maybe he was as clueless as I was. At least I hoped he was, even though everything I learned so far pointed otherwise. So after work, I reached his studio. He mentioned working during our date. Cooper! I yelled as I stormed into his studio, my anger bubbling over. You lying piece of shit! I bellowed, my voice echoing off the walls. How could you lie to me like this? Why did you lie to me? Cooper looked up, startled, his eyes wide with surprise. But he didn't say anything. He just hung his head low and stared at his shoes, his shoulders slumped. The fact that he didn't even deny it infuriated me further. I felt my anger boiling over as I charged through his studio, heading straight for his collar. Answer me! I said, why did you lie to me? I'm sorry, Cooper finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. His eyes were filled with regret and sadness. Sorry? That's it? I snapped, feeling a surge of frustration. Do you have any idea what you've done? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, Anthony. I really didn't. Then what did you mean to happen? I demanded, my grip on his collar tightening. I liked you, Cooper admitted, his voice breaking. I saw your photo and I couldn't resist. I thought if I had a chance to meet you, even just once, it would be worth it. I let go of his collar, stepping back. You thought lying to me was worth it? You thought deceiving me was worth it? I didn't think it through, he said, his voice desperate. I was caught up in the moment. I'm sorry, Anthony. Truly, I am. I turned away, feeling a mix of anger and heartbreak. I wanted to scream, to cry, to do anything to make the pain go away. But all I could do was stand there, my mind racing with a million thoughts. I can't believe you, I said finally, my voice shaking. I'm really sorry, he said softly. I never wanted to hurt you. Well, you did, I shot back, my voice hard. You hurt me more than you can imagine. Cooper didn't say anything. He just stood there, defeated. I turned and walked out of the studio, not trusting myself to say anything more. Back in my car, I felt the weight of everything crashing down on me. I tried to push the memories of those few golden hours with Cooper out of my mind, but it was impossible. His smile, his laugh, the way he made me feel, it was all buried into my memory. A week later. What the fuck? This was all I could say as I saw dozens of my photographs on Cooper's handle. More than half his feed was nothing but my face staring right back at me. The past few days have gone by in a blur. No matter how much I tried to ease back into my old schedule, throwing myself into work and routine, I couldn't shake the memories of Cooper. They haunted me, making it impossible to focus on anything else. I found myself thinking about him at the most inconvenient times. In the middle of a meeting, while driving, even while trying to fall asleep. His face was always there, a constant reminder of what I wished my life to be. This is exactly what led me to this situation, unable to stop myself from